because I'm so cool.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Mate, move that down. Let them see your pretty face. They don't want to see, like, the arse end of a mic.
Maybe they do.
They barely even want to see my face.
Just your titties.
It's getting weird.
Yeah, Instagram and your titties is its own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I should start making money out of it.
OnlyFans.
Dude, I've thought about it so many times. It's like an unbelievable amount of times where now, every time I think about it, I have a conversation with myself. It's like, Alex, you're not allowed to think about this anymore unless you fucking actually do it.
Do it.
Ah, it's not my thing, man.
If you're thinking about it that much, maybe it is. Branch out.
I'm just thinking about the money, man. There's other ways to make the money.
Yeah, I've been trying to find enough places to dip my fingers in to have enough income coming in. Sometimes being an artist is fucking rough. Like, I work for a decor company casually, and then now that I'm fully massage trained, I do Koha massages because still learning. And then I'm like, what else can I do that will make me dollar bills? The modelling maybe will get to that point. I'm selling some of the prints soon, but...
Are they downstairs? Are you selling them today? They still getting, like...
I also thought, I don't know if they're appropriate.
Kids running around and got free the nipple going on.
Like, that art, don't get me wrong, but there are still people in this world that get really upset about nipples, and I'm not here for that energy, so...
Oh, fucking... Do your thing, dude, you know?
I do.
As long as I guess... No, I get the argument around kids. You know what I mean?
Why?
You know, it's...
How many kids got breastfed, man? Like,
yeah, well, they
it's
also
just a
didn't give
titty.
consent, and you can play that card. I'll take it. You know, I'll take it. But...
I don't know, I'm pro-nudity all around.
I just... I refuse to have opinions on a lot of things and just... and just to crack on, mate, you know? Like, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Who am I to judge? I'm going to drink too much coffee and talk shit.
You are really good at that. I'll give you that.
Thanks.
So what's been the highlight of your week?
Ooh! Seeing you.
The highlight of your week?
I had a pretty good training session yesterday.
Training session.
Yeah, man, I love it. No, honestly, talking to people. Deep conversations. Pretty much every week.
You do love a good D&M.
D&M?
Deep and meaningful.
Oh, my God.
What did you think of me?
Maybe I'm already like an 80-year-old man. I just went like D&B, and I was like...
Hey, I love drum and bass. Don't get me wrong. No, well, my flatmate and I have kind of a routine where we end up doing D&Ms on the hallway floor.
Nice.
You know, like sprawled out for like hours. We'll just talk about kind of everything. It's a whole vibe.
Yeah, man. I love it. You connect with someone on a much deeper level, and you also allow them to process things in real time, right? And I think that's quite important, rather than it just swirling around inside your own head, you know, going through the, you know.
Well, one of the things I learn't from Unchatter, which is this amazing connection experience, which was started by a really wonderful lady in Christchurch, is, or her and the other person she works with, Chris, is about pauses, right? So if you're asking a question with someone, or you're kind of making a statement but potentially wanting an input on it, is to intentionally leave space, like empty space in terms of quiet, and then giving that chance to actually process. Because one of the things I was reflecting the other day, and actually I'm only thinking about it in relation to the podcast right now because I'm on the mic, but previously with the podcast I've kind of gotten so excited about talking and spoken really fast, which is funny because I'm one of those assholes that listens to all podcasts at 3 times the speed.
What?
Yeah. But that's kind of another story. I do it with movies, I do it with TV, I do it with books, I do it. My brain just processes really quickly. So when I listen to podcasts on a regular speed right now, I'm like, y'all sound like you're speaking so slowly, right? And so
wow,
the same thing, I speak so loudly, and I was listening back to one of our podcasts because I was trying to pick up one of the quotes that we'd said to add in for my book. And I was listening to it at 3 times the speed, and me with how fast I usually talk at 3 times the speed is chaotic. And I'm so sorry for the people that have had to surround me in terms of either listening to me listen to things or watch things, or just hearing me talk, because I've always spoken too fast. And I started reading that book, the Talk Like a...
Talk Like Two.
Yep.
You like it?
I do, actually. And I've been doing a course as well online in terms of public speaking and using proper articulation. And I got some of it from drama, but it's been teaching me about like breathing while you're talking, because that's just something that's not existed for me. And so breathing and pausing with like conversation is so lovely. And like being okay if there's like, if something like particularly poignant is said, right? Being okay with it sort of being quiet after. You know how sometimes there can be that lull where you're both just like, one of those, which probably sounds really awkward on a podcast, but like naturally, organically, that is a really powerful tool, I think, in communication.
Yeah, I would challenge that. I don't think it sounds awkward on a podcast because they're part of the conversation. They're just not having an input. So when we pause to be, you know, thoughtful and digesting what was said, they're more than likely going to do the same thing. Or they're just smart motherfuckers that know everything, right? And a hell of a lot smarter than I am. I need it on like 0.5 speed.
Yeah, well, see, it's funny because on 3 times the speed, I just miss any natural pauses. It just goes,
Yeah, it's just...
and that's when it sounds normal.
Oh my days.
You learn something new about me every
But
time.
I find that fascinating, man.
I discovered it when I was like 17 and I haven't been able to stop.
Wow.
And it's just like, that's the same thing when I'm reading books and stuff. I fly through.
Yeah.
Because my brain just, it's helpful for me to have either the speed in it, which makes it easier to process because I have to be more in tune, or while I'm either listening or watching or doing something, or sometimes even reading, I usually still need to be doing something like actively, physically with my body because I can't absorb it otherwise. Like it's just...
You need to like overstimulate yourself, kind of. I've noticed that, like I've started studying again, right? And I can't just sit down and listen and just kind of like look at the screen. My mind just kind of goes everywhere, so I have to be doing something else. I have to multitask, and then I actually absorb more information. And then I'll stop something when it's really important. I have to fucking scribble something down. But then whilst it's talking in the background, then I'm like, it's in the back of my head. I've got to be doing something else. Otherwise, I daydream like a motherfucker.
Daydreaming's kind of great, though. I've been trying to schedule in daydreaming sessions into my week because in terms of actually finding something to create or write, you know, like with poetry or anything like that, you kind of need that space to do it. And so far currently, lately, it's been at like 11:30 at night when I'm lying there trying to go to sleep. And then I'm thinking of all the most powerful words and like everything is sewn together so beautifully. And I'm either like, I can totally switch the light on and quickly write it all down, then lie back down, but then my brain keeps like flowing through it. And I want to make space for that to come out at other times. So I don't spend my bedtime being like, I'm going to go to sleep at 11. And then an hour and a half later, I'm still like writing and noting everything down and disrupting my sleep schedule because I'm an arsehole without enough sleep. Like a straight up arsehole. You can ask anyone.
I'm just an asshole in general.
I don't think so.
You don't?
I'm not here for that self-depreciating.
Oh, look at that.
No.
Not today, Jeffrey.
You can try, but I won't allow it.
I will survive. I don't know why that came to my head, but whatever. You know what I've been thinking about recently? Love. Get out of here with that shit.
Natural body reaction. I'm actually a lover, not a
Binge.
fighter.
Nice.
Continue.
What about a lover and a fighter?
That's actually the goal at the moment. I've been trying to change from a flighter to a fighter, but with love. So I guess that's prominent. But why have you been thinking about love, Alex? Your cat?
Oh, my Kade. Oh, man. You got me on a bad tangent now. That's it. I'm just going to go down that rabbit hole and we're just going to flick through kitty pictures.
We've spent our time worse, I believe.
Yeah, talking about my nuts. There we go. It's on another episode.
Is it a goal now? Every episode I'm ever in? Even once you're overseas again, if we're doing like remote.
No, you're coming to see me.
Yeah, I'll come to see you, but we're also probably going to end up just doing over the phone ones.
The telephone? You think I know how to work that?
I can teach you.
Thank you.
No, seriously though, why have you been thinking about love?
Because I think we got it all wrong.
All right. Cupid, tell me how to do it.
Oh, get fucked. Cupid over here. Craig the Cupid. No, I think, movies, books, everything, it's all like romanticized, right? Mm-hmm. Everything is like, oh no, you need to be completely infatuated by a singular person. And then that's it.
You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's quite interesting, right? But, I mean, we never touch on... Don't you think love is a spectrum? It's an umbrella term because there's so many things. There's platonic love, there's love for your family, friends, there's unconditional love. And then there's that, like, for some people, there is that romantic love for one person, right? And then it can be for other people, it can be for multiple people. You can also have romantic love
for multiple people.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not singular.
No, we were...
And the reason why I go here, hold on. Let me finish it. I'm blonde. Is like, I don't think mates tell each other they love them enough.
Excuse me, I tell you I love you every time I leave you.
Yeah, not you and I, you donut. But just mates.
But we are just mates, aren't we?
Oh my God. I'm not talking about you and I. Fucking hell.
If anything, I'm more like your annoying sibling.
Yeah. Mm. Kind of just a bit older sister who, makes me look after myself. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. Do apologize.
But yes, older sibling. I'll take
older
that.
Sibling.
Older dinosaur.
Older dinosaur? Which one?
I'm kind of a combo. It depends on the day. Today I'm feeling very stegosaurus, but it might just be because I have a mullet now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Show me.
If I tell you, we have to take off the headphones.
We'll take them off. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Best choice I've ever made.
So we got a little bit of blue in the front, green where it gets it middle.
Oh, the colour isn't relevant. It's
and then
cut.
we go...
I cut my own hair, and a lot of people told me I couldn't make a mullet sexy. Well, I've just done that. So.
Oh, I'm describing for people that aren't watching, as in everybody.
I mean, it's a mullet. It's a sick little mini mullet. My hair in the back isn't quite long enough, but it's getting there. And I've honestly never felt more myself, or more like, fiery badass.
That is music to my fucking ears.
Right?
Never felt more yourself? Fucking hell, mate. Yeah. It doesn't matter what that is. Do that, man.
Yeah, I am. Don't you worry.
But the you, plural you, right? Like, everybody, you're doing something, I don't know, you're wearing fucking anything. Nothing.
I thought you were about to try and give me shit for my harness again then.
No, I wasn't.
Great harness.
It's great. I reckon I could pull it off. I reckon.
Should we try out the podcast?
You got to back yourself.
No, and back in relation to your point in terms of people not telling each other they love each other enough. Have we talked about love languages before?
Yeah.
I think I might have been on a podcast before, but I've been rethinking them a lot in terms of...
What's yours?
This is where it gets interesting. I've really been thinking about it a lot. When I was younger, it used to be gift giving, because I think because I had so little security elsewhere, I put so much of my security in materials, and so someone giving me something was really good. But I've also perpetually disappointed by gifts. No offense, everybody, because so really do they feel like they're true to who I am, and most often I feel like we gift a gift. We gift a gift.
We want to receive.
Yeah, totally. And I was just noticing there was it was just not always sitting right. Or it was me being very mindful about consumerism and that sort of thing and just not really liking junk, but I wasn't enjoying stuff. So I was like, no, I don't think it's gift giving anymore. Although I do really still love gifting to other people. But again, because of that environmental factor, I don't tend to so much anymore. I'd rather just like gift experiences or time or whatever. And I've always gifted people a lot of my time. But personally, no matter how much I love a person, there's actually still only like usually a limited amount of time I can spend with them.
Of course.
Like, you know, quality time is important for me, but in very short stints. I just get socially really exhausted. So I was like, okay, not so much quality time. And I was thinking about it. And I think it's transitioning into words of affirmation because and maybe in previous years I used to shy away from it, but now I am like very vocal about the people I love, like very vocal. And I would say I always have been with, say, partners and stuff, but like with my friends, with my family, with colleagues, with people that have made an impact. I think come April or May, I put up a huge post. I was feeling like super like in my heart. And it was on Facebook, and I didn't realize that in statuses they have a maximum tag. And I was tagging really publicly all the people that I valued and exactly why I valued them. And I don't know if you ever saw that status because you were on that bitch. But just all these people that have made such an impact on me, especially in like the last kind of year or two. And I shared it, and one, a very, very close friend of mine, fabulous, fabulous man, commented, and he said one of the things he was most amazed at is how much love I can hold for other people. And I was like, I think actually we all hold that love. It's just maybe we aren't so expressive about it. Or again, as you say, we get told that love should only exist for, you know, one, say, romantic person. But I've got friendships that I've had for many years, and some I haven't had for so many years, that like in every relationship I've kind of stepped into those relationships and been like, by the way, I already have a life partner of sorts. Like, I'm so happy you're here, but like, you are not the one and only for me. And I stopped using the term like best friend a long time ago in terms of like a singular, because the amount of people I have that I hold close. So I just try to tell everyone I love them. Fuck, I tell strangers I love them. Who cares? Wouldn't you rather be more abundant? Like the more love you get out, the more love you get in. But also like okay. Sorry, tangent sort of, but related, but just thinking about this and like it's sitting right now with what you said. A while ago, I had this like realization, right? Like love breeds love.
Yeah.
So the more people I bring into my life, the more love I have to give. And even with polyamory, like when I've had partners and then I've stepped away and like been on a date with someone else that I really like, I just realised I'm being clogged up. Yuck.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sick lately, and I can just feel my nose going, woo.
Lately. From Yorkshire.
And yeah, I've come away. I've gone back to my partners with more love for them because I'm so excited about like meeting and connecting with a new person. And I remember from a really young age, like there wasn't words for polyamory when I was like first started dating and all that sort of thing. But I remember then being like, I don't understand what's so bad about, even on a romantic or a platonic level or whatever, having feelings for multiple people at the same time, because that was just an expansion of my emotion. And it was quite like a powerful thing, but I didn't really know how to express it, and I wasn't really with the right person necessarily to express it to. And then it wasn't until maybe my like third more of a datey thingy, the jiggy, a bit more than just like kind of seeing each other, that we actively talked about open relationships and all that together. And we were both kind of like, yeah, like we have so much love to give. And even if it's just a case of like, I just want to go over to my best friends and have a cuddle sleepover, I'm all for that life. Without that being, it also doesn't devalue the feelings or the love I have for, say, a romantic partner or whatever. Same thing, like my best friends kind of all fulfill me in different ways. And that doesn't devalue any of them from being just as important. Like they are all valued super highly. So I'm all for just, I don't know, expressing love. And I think the more you express it, the more you'll feel it back, and the more you'll actually find you have to give. Because it's such a positive thing to talk about, right? Feels good. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. You know, and I think it's the strongest thing on the planet, right? Unconditional.
Other than maybe hope. Hope's pretty spicy.
But where do you think the root of hope is from?
I've thought about this a lot in my life. I'm sure you could relate to some of it in the sense of like being a human is a very strange experience. And even in the times when I've wanted to give up, there has been like this inherent need to keep going and this like determination and will to survive. And I think that comes from a hope, whether it's intentional or not, of like, oh, it's going to get better, or it's going to be a day the sun's going to come out again, or I'm going to laugh, or whatever. So it kind of already exists on its own, and I guess it can be deterred by, you know, if you look at the news too much, which I try not to because I get existential dread quite deeply. But it's also something you can choose to have, right? Like you can be in the midst of something and be like, no, I have to believe in something. Or with me trying to fight for climate change, there are days where like I kind of have no hope for the future. I kind of just see the world collapsing and I can't get out of bed, and I'm like, that's it. Like, why are we still trying? Why are we still bothering? Why are we still here? Why am I wasting time selfishly working on myself when I should be doing everything I possibly can to protect this planet? And then there are days where I've got to be like, no, we've got to keep trying. We're trying for a reason, because there's got to be some chance that we can haul this back.
Do you think there's ever an end goal?
With what? With anything?
Yeah. Do you ever think you've reached a point where you're just like, okay? Apart from death, obviously. Well, I mean, you know, depending on your beliefs, that goes off everywhere, but
I guess there can be an end goal if you sort of like, if you trial out something to the point it doesn't serve you anymore, right? But then I guess it could always come back. But like,
do you think that's finished, or do you think it's morphed into something else?
Well, I mean, if you want to get a bit, well, no, actually, I don't even believe this. I used to be really reserved about talking about, say, energy and spirituality and all that per se, perhaps just because of previous bias. But if you believe in energy, right, energy is never destroyed. It only keeps circulating. So there is an element of that. And the same thing even with, if you want to think of death in that sense, like it's not really over. Like, sure, your life might be over. I mean, I don't know what happens actively next. Like, I don't know if you're still thinking. I don't know if your consciousness is present. But, like, if you want to believe in the physical reality of this world, and just put philosophy aside for a second, our vessels, our bodies decompose eventually, and that gives back to the earth, which kind of creates that cycle. So, no, I don't really think there's an end point. As much as I don't really like circles, which is actually quite funny when I look at the wall behind me. Triangles are my preferred shape. Everything is kind of moving in like a circular, rounded way to an element, I would say. Maybe a bit jagged sometimes, but it's kind of an ongoing loop.
I mean, I don't know the answer. I'm just asking random questions off the top of my head now. Like, I'm interested, man. Like, what's your perception on it? But I know... just for me personally, it curbs a little bit of anxiety of just like, dude, you're never going to be at the finish line.
I think we'd be miserable if we were, to be honest.
I think
especially people like you and I, where we're just like, it's just all ideas, you know, it's the buzzing, it's the wanting to grow and push and crave, and man, this podcast is going to sound real funny with my voice. I'm so clogged up right now.
Who the fuck cares, mate?
I know, I'm just like hyper aware of it as I'm talking.
Two people talking shit. That's just the way this thing's gonna be, mate.
It always is.
Always.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, you know, I think we've talked about this before as well, though, in terms of like destination. I already am all the characters I used to write as a kid, you know, like in my novels that I used to write when I was a kid. I am everything more. And still I find myself dissatisfied, which has taught me so much about life, in the sense that, I mean, partially like who you want to be changes. This is an element of that. But we will never be satisfied, and that's essential to life because it fuels us to keep going and try different things and push bounds.
Do you think that's innate?
Innate
In human beings? Because if we were ever truly satisfied and just content of where we are, like, we'd have no innovation, we'd have no drive to do nothing. Like,
my art would be pretty shit if I was content.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely some weight to the argument of every artist is pretty mentally unstable.
Hey now, I am the most stable person I know.
Dude, I'd say art in an umbrella term of all the things involved.
This morning I was trying to argue I'm not accident prone, and then the person I was trying to argue with pointed out that within the time that we were like really close, that I had fractured my elbow, fucked my wrist, ripped off my face, hurt my leg. And like, I don't know why we get defensive. Not necessarily like that everything's a hard truth, but get defensive about being a bit messy. Like,
yeah, whatever.
Maybe because I'm a clean freak in terms of life, or I try to be. But I've also learnt to adjust from that as well. And I even remember like thinking about when I was painting this, and I think it was the third day I think you came in, right? Where I was like literally lying on the floor like, what the fuck have I done?
Yeah,
Like,
it was quite a strange sight.
Yeah, well, I'd hit that point of like, nah man, this is crap. I'm not satisfied with this. And like initially, I'm still not happy with my Labyrinth Sun mandala thingy. It was done so much scrappier. I wish I'd spent so much more time, but I mean, every mural I've ever done, I still look at. That's why the one I painted in my toilet was the stupidest thing I've ever done. Because every time I try and take a piss, I can't relax because I'm like, I could fix that, or I could fix that, or I could fix that. But, right, it was this not quite satisfied point of how I initially had that sun. Do you remember how I did it first, where it was a little bit less even? You probably didn't even notice. I noticed.
Dude, I don't remember my age.
But I repainted it, and I'm so glad I did, because that's what in the end made me be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm happy enough with this. This is the 90% delivery, 85%, 80% delivery. That is enough that I'm satisfied. So I think it is important to strive for more, regardless. But also sometimes not. I don't know. It's fucking everything, man. I've been having so many of these conversations lately where the end of my conversations is just like, yeah, but it could go either way. Like, no worries.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
like, sometimes I wish I had more definite opinions, but then life is so not like that. I like rules. I like security. I am a goody two-shoes. I like knowing where my boundaries are to an extent, you know? Like, I like when people are like, no, can't do that, can't do that, you can't do that. When people give me too much freedom, I almost get anxious and, like, too many options. But I think that's just because, like, my brain is so chaotic that anything that can give me some grounding, some guidelines is really helpful. And it's why having, like, routine is really helpful for me.
That's interesting. Because
Why?
I'm the opposite. Because if someone's like, you can't do that, you can't do this, naturally, my first thing to say is why.
Nah, see, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'll bend over.
I'm like, nah, why? Why do you want me to do that? I was like, nah, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it my way, pal. Like, this is...
See, I've spent my whole life being walked over. Unless, though, if it's like doing a job, right, and there's a physical efficiency to how to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you'd given me guidance on, like, I don't like this part of the actual art design, I would have been able to change it. If you'd told me, actually, you should do your brush strokes that way, when I know for certain they work better that way, then I will do it that way. So, like, you know, like when I used to work at the hardware store and stuff, and people would say, oh, this is how you unpack it. And I'd be like, that's very inefficient. I hate inefficiency. So I'll do it my way. But other than that, I'm like, yes, sir. 3 bags full, sir. A rule follower by trade. I'm really trying to break out of it. I get teased about it a lot.
What else? Yeah.
Because people look at me and they're like, oh, chaotic little gremlin, like you're a dinosaur, you must just cause total chaos. And they have so many perceptions. They're like, you're loud and all that. And I'm like, actually, I'm pretty quiet once you get to know me. And the quieter I am with you, usually the more I like you because I'm actually comfortable. I usually make noise to compensate for discomfort, sorry. And yeah, people were like, oh, you must be a rebel and all that sort of thing. And like, yeah, I remember drinking and experimenting and all that super early, which, you know, childhood trauma. But at the same time, I was terrified while I was doing it. And it was at the guidance of others. So.
I genuinely think that's, I think back to home. And I think it's bred into you to be like, always push a boundary. And always be like, nah, we're going to figure this out, mate. Like, you want me to do it this way, I'm going to figure out how to get to the same destination a different way. Just to prove to you that you got no control over me. It's, the more people I speak to, like, the more I think about it back home, like, everybody is the same.
But also with you, the thing that I've always admired about you is you just don't seem to give a shit what other people think of you.
Well, people are always going to have an opinion. That's the thing, man.
Oh, I agree with you. But my problem is that I 100% give way too many shits what people think about me.
The thing is, if your heart's in the right place and you got good intentions, man, you can't control nothing outside of you. Like, nothing. And I'm like, listen, man, I can give you every single thing I got, and you can still tell everybody I'm an asshole. And I can't control that.
True.
And I'm like, dude, I bled for you. I've done it for several gyms, and guess what? I got fired from them all. I've been fired 6 times in my life, mate. 5 in 2 years of being in this country. And every time I got fired in those places, I bled for them, mate. I will go 100%.
You got fired about it. I just quit because I was too afraid to say what I needed or what was too much. Like, I just ran away from it all. So I see you as like someone that just fucking stands your ground.
Yeah, I also see it as respect, though. Like, if I respect you that much, I'm going to respect you to tell you the truth. And I've had this conversation with business owners. I've had this conversation with people like in the fucking business hierarchy, quote unquote, much higher than I was, right? And I literally sat down with them. I was like, I respect you and what you've done here, so I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. What exactly is going on the floor? If I didn't respect you, I would lie to your fucking face so I could still get a paycheck. And
Yeah,
every time,
I think that's awesome.
it never goes down well. Every time, I get kicked out. But guess what, mate? I can only ever be myself. So I'm like, oh, if you would favor a lie over a painful truth, just for your comfort and your ego, just so someone can metaphorically suck your dick, fine. But I ain't that guy. Like, good luck, mate. Peace and happiness. I'm out.
I don't want to refer to myself as a fucking primary dick sucker.
No, I mean, pick another analogy. That's probably not the best one, you know, but
I was, I went and caught up with an uncle yesterday who I haven't seen in ages, and we had some fucking DMs, deep
Wow.
meaningfuls, just to clarify again.
thank you.
And-
Again, mentally, I went D&B.
One of the things he talked about as well, where he's like, if the faster that I can translate my truth to you, the more time and hurt that is saved, in a sense, right?
Oh, that's beautiful.
And when he said that, I was kind of like, oh, yeah. Like, fuck, because if you really love someone and respect someone, you will call them out on their shit. But I've always been that, like, not ass kissing in the sense of I necessarily want something from it, but an ass kisser in terms of, like, I really take on responsibility for people's feelings that is not my responsibility. You know, like when you hear something where it's like, oh, well, that's a them problem. I will take on that them problem and those feelings. So in the idea of saying to someone like, hey, I really didn't like how you talked to that person.
Yeah.
which is totally reasonable, which is like most of the time, say maybe an element of comment or whatever that I would come out with. I haven't really respected them enough to just say that, and instead I've just kind of left it. And that's the same in how they've treated me specifically as well. If someone's treated me like shit, which is why, not that you've ever treated me like shit, but it was a while ago, I think I sent you that message being like, yo, I feel like you're not really valuing. That was a really big thing for me to say. And I understood that you were busy, and in my head I was already like making all these compassionate, or finding compassion for you and your experience. And then in that I was like, but that doesn't make my feelings invalid. I can just say to you, like, I know you don't have an intention of this, but right now I just really miss my friend and I want to hang out. And so I think I've started incorporating that in, and it's been really uncomfortable, but also quite powerful.
Do you know how much love and respect I had for a message like that? Every time someone like kind of, hey Alex, come on man, like you dropped the ball a little bit here.
Well, I have no problems calling you out on your shit for other people. In fact, I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy just being like, Alex, pull your fucking shit up. Sometimes you need that.
A lot of the time.
Which is fine, and I'm happy to be that person, but I'm not good at valuing myself in that. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to incorporate now.
Yeah, like a lot of people take it as a personal attack. And it's got notes at, what the hell was that?
I'm really blocked up.
I need some like Olbasol or something. You never have that? Like put on your pillow as a kid?
Yeah, I've heard that stuff's really good. Yeah. I've just been snorting Vicks.
My mum used to like drench the pillow. So every time I'd lie down, you know, you'd kind of get it in your face and on your eyes. And I was like, oh my God. She was like, it's good for you. Yeah, I'm not supposed to drown in it. Nice.
I just don't want to sniff into the mic.
I should have one of those buttons, like those cough buttons, you know what I mean? Like they have on proper radio stations. Although proper radio stations, you can't say what you want to say.
No, you can't.
Advertisements.
Well, every time I get sick, and this is like, I think one of the best memes that anyone ever created is that meme that was going around for a while where it was like, don't you just take for granted when you have a cold, like just being able to breathe freely?
Yes. Yes.
Like every time. And I'll be like, oh my God, this is so annoying. And it's not even like, it's not painful. It's just an irritant. You know what I mean? And every time I get like this, and it's kind of been on, and like, I'm well past the worst of the virus. I couldn't get out of bed for 4 days, like a week and a half ago. And I'm in past kind of the infectious period or anything like that, but I'm just like, ugh.
Same with being injured, man.
Pardon me?
Same with being injured, right? You know, whatever you injure, in whatever capacity, you're like, oh, I've kind of lost function for a temporary period of time.
I fractured my elbow. And, like, I'm an independent little missy. Like, there is nothing that pissed me off more than having to ask someone else to lift something or grab something or do that. Or even my partner at the time had to help me shower because I couldn't even, like, it was mortifying. But I guess good in that sense. It was a humbling experience to be like, yep, I really can't do it right now. And my flatmate's an occupational therapist, which is extra funny. So, like, I would, like, sneakily try and go to use that arm to, like, open something, and she'd be like, leave it. And I'd be like, but... She's like, leave it. So that was, I think, probably a good experience for me and my
it's humbling,
stubborn self.
It's really humbling.
And the amount of fucking, like, I am just in awe of people that deal with that all the time. Like, you know, I've been dealing with chronic pain since I was 12. From all my different injuries, and well, actually I was 10 when I had my first neck injury, and it's one thing, and it's painful, and sure, it limits some movement. And to be fair, like, if you'd met me 5-6 years ago, there could be like a week I couldn't get out of bed because the pain was just that bad. But like, it still wasn't like missing a limb, or you know, like I still had all the bits that were like able to walk me around, and I was able to open a jar without thinking about it. And suddenly having my arm like strapped to me and having to like readjust how I do everything one-handed was just this like total, like, for like an immersive month of like, man, there are people every day that live without an arm,
man,
or both arms, or it's human fucking resilience is phenomenal. Like, phenomenal. And they shouldn't, I don't mean to make them out as like, you know, superheroes, because I also think that's a really bad trope that can sometimes come with them. Like, they're just regular people, dinosaurs, whatever they want to identify as. But, like, fuck. But then I have to think as well that some people look at me and think of me like that, where they're like, shit, you just get on with your shit, because I've got, you know, a few health issues of my own. But it's just the new norm. You kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
I was talking to my uncle about this as well yesterday. We're like, you know, I had a couple of weeks ago, I had a couple of cocktails. And I haven't been drinking much because I just don't really enjoy it much anymore. And a really triggering experience. And then the next day, I get real dark the day after alcohol. But I also kind of got dark when I was on the alcohol, because I forgot how much I talk and how much I don't like who I am intoxicated. And it took me back to the days when alcohol was my number one crutch, and then having to accept that it was a crutch and deal with like the internal shame of like, yeah, I'm bordering alcoholic. I mean, I probably was an alcoholic. I don't like saying it. And having to just, acknowledge that and like be like, nope, that doesn't have to be who I am. But also that's an ongoing thing for me. Like every time I see alcohol, I think about that. And I always think, oh, you know, I've sorted it now. You know, like I don't have a toxic relationship with alcohol. Like it's fine. And talk to my psychologist about creating a lifestyle of moderation rather than necessarily hardcore sobriety. And it was just a reminder actually, like, initially when I tried to go cold turkey sober, I would beat myself up if I did touch a drink or whatever. But now, and I know we've joked as well about doing a drunk podcast, and that was something I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, that'd be funny. But then I kind of remembered, like, every time someone offers me a beer, a glass of wine or whatever, I kind of say yes automatically. And then usually the minute it's in my hand, I'm drinking it, I'm like, I don't really want this. I don't want this experience. And then I will usually end up drinking it kind of out of guilt or social pressure, or sometimes just because I'm like, yeah, I can drink alcohol. It doesn't cause issues for me, but it does. And it's just one of those lifelong things that I've just adjusted to. And so now when I say to people like, hey, I have a drinking problem, and now like, oh my God, whoa. Or I'm like, I'm not into alcohol, or currently sober, whatever. Any trigger words that seem to make other people be like, wow, that's amazing that you've gotten through that and all that. I'm like, nah, it's just another part of me and adjusting to how I exist. Like, we all have our things.
Self-awareness, man.
It's not even self-awareness. It's honestly like, have you ever lived in a flat where it's had, like, an older flat or whatever, and there's been, like, some sort of quirk in there? Like, I had a flat that the shower, you had to angle the thing literally just right so that you didn't burn your entire skin off.
Yeah.
And other people would visit, right, and hop in that shower and be like, oh, my God, that must be so annoying. And I'd be like, I honestly don't notice it anymore.
Yeah.
It's our ability to adapt is out of this world, and I think that's probably why humans have evolved how we have, really.
Yes.
Like,
well,
totally.
It is not the strongest that survived, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that's most adaptable to change.
Yeah. So now I'm trying to be more adaptable.
Yeah.
What?
Change fucks me up, man.
Oh, yeah, I haven't noticed.
Motherfucker.
Well, what is the time that you felt you had to really be adaptable, other than now? Like, can you think of a time that, when you look back on it or whatever, or something that you learnt from in terms of adaptability and being able to adjust and change or whatever, other than befriending a dinosaur? You know, I'm sure that was a bit strange initially.
I just make a lot of gay jokes.
You can't make those anymore. I can, though.
Yeah, but you still laugh, you know? And you know it comes from, like only love. Only love, man. Like, yeah.
But yeah, like, well, what is a...
Well, coaching does it every single time. I gotta do it
in terms of, like, different people.
Yeah, I gotta adapt the way I communicate to other people. If I got 16 people in a class, I gotta do it 16 times. like within 60 minutes. Every time I've got to then adapt, and I'm always thinking of, all right, I communicated to them in this way. It didn't really work, or it worked about 70% of the way there. I was like, this person loves a joke. They want humor. Great. This person needs 3 words. Great. This person's more of a visual learner. Fantastic. This one does not understand my accent. So I've got to physically put them in a fucking position.
Did you offer them a roll?
No. I didn't offer them a rum. It's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Can you just say tool one more time?
Tall.
No, tool.
Tool.
It's my favourite. Yeah, I've never actually thought about your perspective from that in terms of coaching. Like, literally, how many people you have to... I admire the fuck out of that, because I just get overwhelmed by, like, having to figure that out with 1 or 2 people, let alone...
It's really hard, man.
Group.
But it's, like, when you do it and you're able to help these people, like... Stop laughing about my accent. You've heard me enough now. It's unbelievable, mate. You know, being able to help these people, like, it's unbelievable. Why are you laughing, motherfucker?
I just love hearing certain words. Probably a little overtired. Yeah, no, totally. That's awesome. Yeah, I used to think I wanted to do coaching, and then I kind of, like... I wondered about my ability to be able to relate to all the different people, you know?
But outside of that, mate, situation-wise, probably every time I go to a new place, you know...
Like a new city or...
Yeah, and, like, leaving Manchester was difficult, and I moved to the south of England, and people are a lot different down there. There's more similarities between the Southerners and Kiwis than there are to the Southerners and Northerners. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Apart from the sense of humour, the sense of humour here is absolute dog shite. You get maybe 1 in 5 people that get the dark, sarcastic humour, and everybody else...
Well, see, I'm Dutch, and our humour is, like, purely...
Europeans, mate, innit? We're all a little bit messed up.
Black Plague.
Ah, exactly. Yeah, that was rough, and then coming over here was rough, and you know, you have to adapt.
Yeah, I know you've struggled adapting with Kiwis. We're a funny bunch.
It's I don't I don't throw it out to other people. It's all an internal battle. Like, I take responsibility and accountability for everything.
Oh, I don't get the impression you're blaming, but also, like, Kiwis are a really odd bunch in how we communicate and how we, again, like, full circle back to, in terms of, like, expressing love, I don't think Kiwis are the most affectionate of people.
Yeah.
And we're a bit too proud. I'm fine, she'll be right. Crying inside.
Bit arrogant as well.
Arrogant?
100%, in my opinion.
In what sense, though?
Oh, we're the fucking mutts nuts.
I suppose I hang out with a more alty crowd. So
yeah, I would say so.
Right.
But, I mean, people the way they are, right? And it is my job to be able to decipher that and communicate in a way that's going to land to help them, right?
You do know, though, as well, though, that arrogance comes from insecurity.
Of course.
So I don't think necessarily that Kiwis are, like, arrogant in the sense of they genuinely think they're the shit. It's that they genuinely don't.
I don't think the All Blacks help this country.
I mean, you don't need to argue with me. I don't give a fuck about rugby.
I love rugby.
What is it about the All Blacks that you think disrupts?
Problem is, they dominated the world for 12 years. So now it's an expectation. And when they don't, there's like, oh, fuck you. Like, we're not winning within 10 minutes. Dude, it's been 10 minutes. There's a 19-year-old playing. He's 19, dude. You barely had a fucking pube on your nuts at 19. He's 19.
Why do you always got to bring it back to nuts?
I don't know, man. Like, you know what you're getting with me, you know? But anyway, like, people expect perfection from human beings. I think that expectation has corrupted a lot of people, and it puts way too much pressure on fucking kids, man.
Yeah, well, I think that's where I cracked.
You know?
I still can't believe I cried over a B+.
Christ. I think.
And now look at me.
I think we got to be humbled, man. You know, geographically, you're in the bottom right hand corner. There's no one else around, right? There's no competition.
You've got to be humble, but I also think New Zealand's biggest problem is, in the sense, we're too modest. You know what I mean? We've not been taught to love ourselves.
No, you got to be humbled. You got to You're gonna humble yourself.
No. This is still my argument. I think New Zealanders have been taught to humble ourselves, in the sense of like we're actually totally devaluing who we are as individuals.
Interesting.
Which I think can be really dangerous.
Agreed.
Like, when I buff up myself, I say it sarcastically. Or when I do self-love affirmations, it's like, I love myself. When really it should be like, yes, I do love myself. I'm a good person. I provide things to this world. But instead, New Zealanders are expected to be like, oh, I'm not that great. Like, we're not taught to celebrate. I don't remember the last time that I did something to celebrate my achievements. Especially in terms of like work or creativity or whatever.
Where do you think you got them from, mate? We got them from Britain. It's exactly the same back home.
It's stupid.
It's exactly the same back home. The only problem is, like, because it's closer to a lot of other things, you get influenced by a lot more things. Mm. So you either get slapped in or slapped out of some things. That's the only difference. Like, I'm a bit of a history geek too. Is that the ice cream fan?
No.
Oh.
Haven't you heard Mr. Whippy's little... I can't even remember the tune is anymore.
I've not had a Mr. Whippy in years, mate. Mate, last time I had a Mr. Whippy, they were called 99p's, right? 99 flag, they were called. You used to pay 99 pence, they give you a penny back. I went up with £1, and they charged me 110. I got so pissed off, I've never been back. I was like, I've only got £1 on me. I was like, it's alright, pay me next time. Fuck you, mate. I'm not paying a 99 for 110.
Inflation, love.
I don't care. Change the name. I'm not paying a 99. I'm not paying 110 for a 99. It's not happening. I was fuming. I was like, I don't know, 8, 9, maybe. And I was like, you know what? Piss off, Jeff. I'm out.
Why is it always Jeff with you? Do you have a grudge with a Jeff in your life?
No, I don't think I've ever met.
I've met a lot of Jeffs, and they're all fabulous, fabulous, delicious humans.
If I have met a Jeff, they've never been bad. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, it was just... Jeffrey is just kind of... I always go to like a waiter. Not a waiter, a butler. You ever seen the movie Clue?
No.
Oh, mate. You ever played the board game Cluedo? It's a movie about Cluedo. Not about the board game, but it's like real life. And I always go back to the actor who plays...
The board game is real life, Alex.
Oh, wow. Here we go. Does that mean if I beat you in Monopoly, you owe me real money?
You will never beat me at Monopoly, I'll tell you that right now.
Game on, motherfucker.
No, seriously. I'm dead serious.
It's going to last 7 days, mate.
If there is one thing in this life I'm not humble about, it is my ability to play Monopoly.
Are you Dutch? You good with money?
I am too good with money.
Yeah.
It destroys me. I have a complex.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will sit there for 5 minutes. I will waste 5 minutes of my time deciding between whether I buy the dollar budget version of something or the thing that I know that certainly tastes better for $1.30.
Oh, 2 seconds. I'm always going for the dollar.
I mean, yeah, I usually do as well, but I will still spend 5 minutes considering it. Do you know how much time I think about spending money?
Yeah, that's...
If I worked instead of thinking about it, I'd be a baller.
I had to stop doing that, man. You got to. You got to drop that ball, man. Like, it's crippling.
It is super crippling.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Like, for a long ass time, I was the same.
And same thing, like, how we use money in terms of, like, you need to invest in wellness or you're going to invest in illness.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, that was a hard one for me to learn.
And what's the whole, they teach the bottom to save, they teach the middle to invest, and they teach the top to own. Something like that. It goes something like that.
I haven't heard that one.
And it's like, yeah, if you just like scrimp and scrape for like pennies here and there.
But
and
the bottom, they don't usually have the money to save.
Yeah, but you're saving like 5 cents. 5 cents every week. You were looking, mate, I used to walk around the street in the city with my head down. Not because I was an anxious motherfucker and depressed. That's the same, but not my point. Because people back home throw the coppers on the floor. So I'd go around and pick them all up. And I'd put them in a protein tub in my room. I saved it up and then would put it in a bank. I'd go in with like a whole fucking protein tap full of like 2p's. It'd be like 110 quid. That's a lot of 2p's, mate.
God, the banks must have fucking hated you.
They hated me, but I'm putting money in them. Fuck off.
Yeah, like little money too.
Doesn't matter. Money's
I
money.
don't pay for things with 10 cent coins and people look at me like I'm a monster.
No, money's money, mate, you know?
I know it's money. Money is money.
If I saw like a 20 pence coin, I'm in.
Yeah, money is it's a hard one. I'm envious of people with like stable relationships with money. I'm trying to work on it, but
I think it's important you teach it real young.
Yeah, well, I've got conditioning very young that means I wasn't truly taught the value of money.
Yeah.
And that's very hard to shake off.
I also think you should tax kids.
Like having kids? Or what?
No. So, say for example, like, did you get an allowance?
No.
No, neither did I. But say for example, you give your kid an allowance, pocket money, or they have a job, right? And they get like $50, right? Whatever. That's a lot of allowance. Holy shit.
That's a huge fucking allowance.
$10. Let's say $10.
My dad would like give me $1 or $2 coins for doing like 2 acres of lawn clipping.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. I had to work. Clean the car inside and out. Here's your 50 pence, mate. Piss off. Go buy your sweets.
My sister used to like garner me to do things with like 20 cent coins. I'd do anything for a 20 cent coin.
Of course. Put it in the bank.
And now I look at it and I'm like, but the great thing is, as she got older, she got lazier and she was earning more money. So then it would be like, I'll give you $10 to clean my car and you can keep any money you find in your car. And I would find a lot of coins in her car. So then I'd be like, I'm a baller. And that was pretty much what got me through high school.
Yeah. But I think we should tax them. So say, for example, you got a kid, right? You're giving him $10. Say it's 10% tax. So you're giving $10, they got to give you $1 back, right? However, I think throughout all that time that you tax them, right, for all the years, it should go in a separate account and you should invest it for them, right? So you can teach them 2 things there. You teach them about earning money. Well, 3 things. Earning money, tax, and then investing.
Yeah, tax is an inevitable piece of shit. I had to do my first ever tax return this year, now being a self-employed artist. Yeah. And just, it was wild. And like, I didn't, because I earned hardly anything last year, I didn't have to pay that much tax. But even then, I was still like, oh, you want that much money from me? Even though, like, I'm all for tax. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're paying for all the amenities we get. And, like, some of them I'm like...
Take it, whatever.
I don't want my tax to pay for a sports stadium, but I don't personally care about sports. But I also, a friend pointed out really, like, honestly, the other day that they were like, well, remember that sports stadium brings in money and brings in people and brings in, like, it makes money as well, whether I like sports or not. And so I'm like, yeah, we should all be paying tax, totally. But even then I was still kind of like, oh, like, ouch. Oh, my God. Even though I'm a saver and I even had money put aside ready for my tax return, I was still just like...
Of course.
Whereas with the automatic system of someone paying you, like having an employer, and the money goes out before it even lands to you, I'm kind of like, I don't even think about it, you know, I'm like, whatever. But having to have had that money come in my account and then give some of it back, I was just like...
Yeah. It's peace of mind for me, man. You know. Is that the alarm?
11:40.
Hey now. Hey now. Did you like
that?
What
is that?
Did you like it?
No.
Why not?
Where's it from, though?
I don't know, man.
I know what it's from, but I can't.
Come out with
Do you want to sing
shit.
it one more time?
No.
You sure?
Positive.
I don't know.
You got to
sang
go
it the first
downstairs
time.
and do a market, mate.
Yeah, I know I do. Gotta sell all my cool threads and get rid of my art.
Yeah. Mate, it's been a pleasure, as always.
Is this really going to be the last time, though?
I think so, mate. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. No, good yards.
I feel like I've written my future
Rest of your future?
with the name Nomad. You know.
What, the sense of taking off again?
Yeah, and also like I've struggled mentally and personally of like just really trying to fit in, mate.
I don't think you should fit in.
And like
You're not made to fit in.
it's just not happened, pal. And it was fucking eating me up, and I'm like, and I started getting really cynical, and I don't want to be that guy. And I'm just like, you know what, man? You're not meant to fit in, bro. So stop fighting it. Let go. Wish everybody peace and happiness.
Nice.
And just keep walking, man.
Keep walking.
Keep walking.
Walking.
I'm walking here.
On that note, I really do need to go to work.
Right.
But pleasure talking as always.
Thanks, mate. Love you.
Yes, so the next time, which will probably be remote.
Maybe not.
In some makeshift setup at my lounge.
Yeah. We just do it on the park bench or something. You know, what are these two
Wholesome.
knobheads doing? Fucking microphones on a park bench, Agley Park, just like
Sorry, what?
Agley Park.
Agley Park?
Yeah, we don't pronounce the H's, mate.
Agley
It's
Park.
H as well. It
Sounds
begins
like
with an
Ugly Park.
A. H.
Hat.
At.
Ah, fuck off.
Or hat.
Horse.
Oh, that one we say arse.
Horse.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note.
All right.
I'll catch you soon.
Do some work, will you? Love you all. Bye, everybody.